All right, everyone. Welcome back to the show. It's a different layout today. It's Discord.
I think it's called the show.
The show. Oh, what did I say? The show.
I think you said the no show.
The no show. I mean, we did take a while to get started. It was a little bit of a no show at first, but we managed. We got through it.
No, you'll see in the playback, but it cut out when you said show.
Oh, it did. Okay. Well, the good thing is that we don't have to worry about time constraints anymore. Even if the quality takes a little dip, at the very least, we don't have to cut off after 30 minutes. We can just run through the whole show and not have to worry about it.
Why is the quality going to take a dip?
I don't know, cuz it's on my screen it's looking like it's not bad, but there's moments where it looks like the camera kind of glitches. It would do that in Zoom sometimes too, but it didn't show up. So we might get lucky, but on the off chance.
Show us what it looks like there in OBS.
Okay, let's see. This is gonna look probably a little bit weird here. Let's see what happens. This might glitch out a little bit, so we'll have to see. This is what it looks like in OBS. Yeah, that's the layout up there. If I click on it, then it really messes it up. If you see if you go into that mode,
it looks worse than it does on Discord, though. Is what you're saying?
It's hard to say. I don't necessarily know. Definitely on my Discord screen, it looks like sometimes there's a little glitch with the camera, but I don't know if that's actually yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's gonna show up. We'll have to see.
All right. Well, you can stop your stream now.
Okay. There we go. It's a little bit janky, a little bit of a janky setup. I'm sure there's people out there who do podcasts through Discord who would be like, "What are you doing?" That's a ridiculous way to do it, because I'm gonna be dragging this over there because for some reason it freezes when I try to screen share on the same monitor. So I have to drag it over to the monitor that has Discord in it, and then share screen, and then drag it back so that I can actually, when I'm talking to you, then it's more natural. I don't have to talk to you over from this monitor. I don't know why it does that, but it does.
Yeah. Well, so if anybody knows how to fix this, let us know, please.
Yeah.
Or just how to stream better.
Help would be welcome.
So, I don't know if you guys saw some of the episodes before they got pulled off.
Yeah, I did that. I have to take responsibility for that. They were so bad. I talked about within that episode, the last episode, or not the last episode, the episode before, pretty much every episode after, I talked about how bad I thought it was. It was so bad. It was even worse than I thought it was. These episodes just... The improvement is happening. I can tell that improvement is happening, but, it was too bad. It was just so bad.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, dude, we're getting 100 views per video. Pretty good.
That's not the right type of views, though. That's the type of views that don't want to stick around. You know what I mean? Which isn't a bad thing, but if there's statistically nobody in there who is willing to leave a like or enjoys the show, then I think it means that so. Okay, there's two different things. There's two different factors that I'm thinking here. Factor one is if you put Tim Pool or Ben Shapiro in the title, and people like that person, and they click. Of course, if you're shitting on them, they're gonna hate you. They're not gonna like it, and they're gonna be very angry. So that's expected, and that's good. That's fine. I don't mind that. But my arguments and the things that I was saying, I was the last thing I want to do is vindicate those people. Due to my poor explanation that I maybe laid out, I don't even want to give those people anything. Like those people, like, no. Because there's like people who, like, who are political commentators who deal with this type of stuff, and they deal with it in a way that maybe even turns some of them away from, like, the ways that they normally think about things, right? Like, if someone was like completely like, like, no, like, I think just women are inferior to men or something, or some crazy stance like that. Sometimes, like, somebody can, like, walk somebody down from that and can, like, try and, like, fix that, like, that crazy thing that person thinks. But, like, if I'm gonna do, like, the argumentation in a poor way, I feel like I'm damaging that whole entire cause. I'm basically vindicating them, and then they're going back to Ben Shapiro for more brain rot, and I'm just enforcing it with my poor explanation. That's my worry. That's my fear, is that I'm doing a bad job at it.
You think you're actually negatively affecting these people that are watching the videos?
Not negatively affecting it, but I think there's some people out there who, like, their goal is to, like, kind of change somebody's mind, perhaps, through, like, good argumentation and actually, like, having an organized show, having an organized, like, set of things that they're gonna cover, and they do it in a certain way where they hit the target right on point, and then they move on, and it works in this way that I feel like the last few episodes, it just wasn't flowing that way. The Ben Shapiro episode was better. Like, actually addressing him, like, a video of him was much better. But I was still watching through. That one's more postable. I will just keep that one up, honestly, at this point. But oh man, even that episode, I was like, damn. I was like, I couldn't.
Yeah,
I feel like I didn't
mean,
do it justice.
yeah, well, those people that you're saying who have good arguments, they spend a lot of time on those. So maybe you just shouldn't say anything unless you've spent a lot of time thinking about it,
Yeah,
or
but then you're just watching.
you've written a paper on it or something.
Then you're just watching Ben Shapiro, though, and then you're just platforming. Well, not platforming. Like, you can't platform someone who's bigger than you. But then you're just watching Ben Shapiro without, talking about where he's wrong.
Yeah, but so you prefer saying a bad argument to saying nothing?
I don't think it's like it was a. It's not necessarily it's always a bad argument. It's more like being able to pinpoint exactly what Ben Shapiro is trying to do, and being able to explain that in a way that's more concise, rather than, like, I noticed something. Like, when I write something down, like typing, you know what I mean? Like on a keyboard, and I'm writing, like, an essay, and I'm submitting that in for a class.
You're supposed to say Latinx. Sorry to interrupt.
Latinx.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, Latinx. Like,
yeah, I won't.
I revise.
I'm
you
not
know what
gonna.
I mean? I type something,
I'm not
and
gonna
I'm like, I
interrupt
hate
you,
that.
but
No, we have to have it right.
Latinx.
Latinx, of course. But do you know what I mean? Like, when you type something, and then you're like, no, that's not right, and then you delete it, and then you type it again, and then you're like, no, that's not right, and then you delete it, and then you type it again, and eventually you have the perfect sentence, and you continue onwards, and you piece together this essay. When you're doing, like, I didn't realize this, but I guess I'm starting to learn this. When you're doing, like, a political show on the fly, there's no revising what you say. Like, you put something out there, and that's the take. There's no, like, going back and saying, no, I want to, like, be more precise with the sentence, and I want to link it more with what I'm trying to say here. There's none of that. You're just, nope, that's it.
Yeah, well, that's why most people don't do it on the fly.
There's some people who can, but I think they do prepare. They definitely do. They definitely, like, they're doing research. They know what they're going to pull up throughout the whole entire show. Some claim that they don't, like, pre-watch stuff, but I mean, sometimes I wonder.
Who?
I'm like, let's see. I can probably come up with some polarizing figures. Hassan doesn't. There's a guy named Hassan Piker. He streams like every day, and he pulls up the news, and he does it like 8 hours, and he just goes through the news cycle, and he just responds to like just mainly just alt-right figures that say just crazy shit, and he just goes through it, and that's he goes through the news cycle, talks about it. And even that like takes a lot of practice. I think like there was even some moment where he I don't watch him as dedicatedly as like some people I think do. I don't have the time for that. I'm busy with school. I've got this show. I'm trying to do my own YouTube stuff. Hobbies. It's like I don't have that time. But I think he even mentioned that like he started on the Young Turks, I think, and he wasn't quite as good when he first started, and he like built up to it. So like. And then you have like there's another like leftist figure. Like I'm probably gonna throw out most of them because I don't watch alt-right news. I'm sure people could probably tell that if I mentioned Hassan. But like there's like Sam Cedar, and I don't know what kind of like if he preps that much. I don't know what like necessarily goes behind some of these shows. You have to prep somewhat. You have to like have some plan of what you're gonna do throughout the show. But I don't know. I was looking at what I was doing.
You're seeing these people, even if they're not preparing, you're seeing them 10,000 hours plus into their craft, right? So I think the people on the news, obviously, they have their stories planned out and their takes, right? Politicians have their story planned out and they have their takes. And then there's a lot of like smaller independent news people, like Crystal and Sagar.
No, I don't think I've heard of them.
Oh, I mean they're on the right, but they just a little bit. But they have a show. They used to be on a network called The Rising, and then they went independent, and now they have their own talk show. But anyway, it's basically like Tucker Carlson, but more moderate. And so it's the whole new show, and they have the segments, and they just fire off points. So they have their show, and then they spend all the rest of the day planning for their next show.
Yeah. See, I think that's the problem too. Like, because this isn't our full-time job, like, we don't have time to necessarily do that. We can start, definitely. I'd be interested in it and putting some more time to like prep for the show. It's such a weird contrast going from like, again, it was all bit-based stuff with like the Not Your Cousins podcast, even like the start of this one, like it was just like regular podcast stuff, and that transition into like political stuff, like completely different game. And I think I didn't even realize that stepping into it. I was like, I understand that like you have to like interact with the media that you're presenting. You have to interact with it. But once you give a take, that's it. It's out there. There's no revising it. You can't sit down at a computer and like retype what you want to say. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a learning process for sure.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose it's the same with bits. I remember like the first episodes of the Not Your Cousins podcast, I would watch back and I thought that I was like awkward, and then it got better as the shows went on, and I felt like I was able to like it felt better. The podcast felt like it just like it improved over time, and I think that's what I'm going through here with this political stuff. I'm realizing like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean we don't have to do that either, right?
I'm interested in it. Sometimes I feel like it's not necessarily always best, I guess, to stick what you're like comfortable with. Sometimes it's good to go out and try that stuff. But the thing with the political takes that like I think like made me like more like adverse to it versus like the stuff we were doing like that's bit based or just us having a conversation and goofing around, right? When that goes wrong or when that feels awkward, it's more like silly, you know what I mean? It's more like we're just uh we're just kind of on a roll, you know? Like there's nothing like, that serious about it. But when you go to like a political take, all of a sudden there's this new meaning of like this is extremely serious, and you've just a statement has been put out there that's like it's more like I don't know how to put it. It feels so much more serious that when you don't do it justice, it feels like even worse. You know?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, yeah, if you're interested, we can keep doing it. I would say it's gonna take you writing about the subject matter, or at least having a body of knowledge in the political sphere that you have written about. See, I think that's what a lot of the streamers do, or people who do off the cuff stuff. They have this body of beliefs and hard hitting facts, right? And they can take all from over here of what's coming in daily with the news, and they can harvest it and then shoot it into this what they already know.
Yeah, yeah.
So you gotta build this up. You gotta be writing about, oh, Ben Shapiro's like this. Oh, okay. I've heard these political commentators say this about here. What else could I throw in here that's not already being said about him? You know,
Yeah,
and go and revise that belief.
it's difficult because like there's like you can like understand something that's like going on. You know what I mean? Like you can be like, okay, I understand like how the Ben Shapiro show works and how it draws people in and some of the negative effects. But then like not having something like prepared to like break that down into like just like you were saying into something that's like a fully formed like argument with like all of the different things laid out in some organized fashion and ready to be presented. You know what I mean? That trying to do that on the fly is it just comes off unorganized. It doesn't make any sense, especially if you don't have like everything, like every single thing that you're citing, pre-planned and organized. Um, Especially thinking about things that like maybe you saw like a year ago or like 3 years ago, and you're trying to draw on this one statistic or this one piece of evidence that you want to present to support what you're trying to say, and then you're like, well, I'm trying to do this on the fly, and I don't remember what that was 3 years ago. I remember it was something, but I don't have the name ready to go.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna be wrong sometimes, and people are gonna dislike the videos regardless of how cogent you are. Now,
I
can you turn
definitely
your microphone
expected that.
towards your? If you're gonna lean
Oh
back like
yeah,
that, can you turn your microphone towards your mouth?
yeah. Here we go. Let's see. I think I definitely expected that like with a Tim Pool title, like you're gonna get Tim Pool watchers, and if you say you don't like Tim Pool, they're not gonna be happy about it, no matter what you say.
Yeah.
Even if it's presented in a good way, they're still not gonna like it. But I think like the people who there if you don't do it in a way that's at least presented well, you can't present that information to somebody who hates him, definitely, because they're just gonna immediately reject what you're saying. Even the ones who might maybe would be more charitable, right, and would listen, they're gonna turn you away because it's not presented in the best light. And then the people who agree with you already, they're gonna just be like, oh well, that wasn't presented in a good way, and they're gonna be like, no, moving on. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I was watching it back, and I was like, I know this isn't like I would think too. The crazy thing is, I'd watch what I'd say, and I'd be like, no, if I could go back, I'd say it this way. But I just spit it out there,
Yeah.
just impromptu.
Well, that's the I guess the painful part of capturing what you do and being able to watch it again. You get to really see yourself, man. So, uh, yeah, you're recognizing how your, I guess, the chunk of you that has strong political beliefs may in some cases jump to the gun when you see something that is just blasphemous to you, if and you jump the gun because you think it's so crazy you have to say something, and then some of that stuff isn't as like firmly uh, grounded as you wish it would have been. So I mean, you're just seeing it, and sometimes then you recognize, oh damn, I thought I was doing better than this, you know.
Yeah.
And it's not like I'm not really saying that much of really hardly at anything. You're saying all this stuff, and I'm giving like my honest reaction to it. So it's not all bad, and some of what the people commenting are just they're not. A lot of people aren't like forging their own path and beliefs. So a lot of them are just commenting. They made me think some of the shit you're saying is crazy, and then they just echo whatever I said in response to that, right? So I'm not like meeting your thing with opposition, but I'm also kind of like, are you sure about that? I'm kind of in a way tearing apart your what you're presenting politically, and that makes it easier for the people commenting to have a negative opinion of what you're saying, right? If I was just there with you the whole time, people wouldn't have a chance to be like, they wouldn't be questioning it. They would just be zombies having this stuff hit their brain.
Yeah, I think I noticed that like there was temptation to like at some points not say anything, but there were two components to it. So like of course I disagreed with what was being said, because it's it's Ben Shapiro. When I hear a bad take, I'm gonna internalize it and I'm gonna say okay, um, that's not a good take. And then there's the second component where in a political show you're supposed to like stop the video and interact with that substance that was provided. Um, it's just, so I guess there was two mixed things going on. I was like, okay, I have something that I have opposing views on this. Now I have to stop the video and I have to say something, or else we're just watching Ben Shapiro for like 10 minutes straight. And that's the worry is like you have to like chop it up and interject. But if those interjections aren't like well thought out, or you're not used to like doing these things on the fly, it's the arguments can come across as very loosely based. Um,
Yeah, yeah, they can.
and I don't know because I sometimes think like how long can you let like Ben Shapiro play before like an interjection is kind of to make it so you're not just watching Ben Shapiro. It's one of those lines where
Well, get better at it.
yeah, I that's something that I hope to do at least. Um, the Ben Shapiro episode, I thought it was better again, and we actually had more. I think more interesting conversation there towards the end.
When's
Um,
that one going up?
I'll put that one up. I guess I'll put it up just this Monday, I guess. And then this one the next Monday, I suppose. Or maybe I'll do a double. Yeah, maybe I'll do we could do a double decker kind of week, because we missed a week. So maybe we do Monday and like Wednesday, and then next Monday we just start off on that new episode. And over the
Yeah, and
weekend I can
sorry
just
to
stitch
say,
it.
but I'm gonna put these episodes back up.
Okay, if you want to, feel free. Feel free.
And
Oh,
they
they're
actually
just so
have
bad.
they have the seventh episode has 3 likes, and the eighth episode has 2 likes.
Still bad. Bad for 100 views. That's so bad. And you know what? I thought about this too. This was another thing that I thought. I was like, oh, no, I have to sit closer to the mic. The other thing that I thought was like, imagine like like getting far enough later on where like you get better at like presenting arguments and like things like develop, or you're doing something else in life. Maybe it's more like set in like irony or bit related things. I often find myself I prefer to express myself sometimes politically in that kind of way because it's there's just more that you can do with it. It feels like then it's not as concrete as a serious statement that you're throwing out there. But someone would look at that past stuff and would be like, "This guy sucks," like because like it does. Like those episodes suck. They're just so bad. They're awful. Like so terrible. Even the Ben Shapiro episode is like they're getting less bad, but like those two episodes are so awful. They're so bad.
So I'm gonna say,
Dude, I mean, these. I'm just looking at these comments now. This is pretty harsh what these people are saying. to you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. And it is a bad episode. I'm telling you. That's why I think that those two episodes, they're best just put to rest silently. Because those guys, like, okay, the thing is they like Ben Shapiro. And they like those kind of conservative figureheads. So already they're going in being like, I'm not going to like this. But then the problem is I'm not presenting it well. Like I'm not putting up a good forefront to these guys. And to have like an episode that presents things like that, you gotta have a good stance to those guys because those guys suck. They suck so much. And I don't want like my terrible arguments that suck to like go up against their shitty comments that suck. Like these brainwashed right-wing losers, I don't want to give them any credence. That's my worry. And I'm sure people out there who like understand that like Ben Shapiro sets up his show in a really like the only compliment I would give him is he sets up his show in such a way it's perfect. It's so perfect, like facts and logic, like perfectly kind of like structured, creating a web where you don't really know what he's saying, but like every now and then he feeds you like a hint of like his alt-right propaganda. It's perfect. And the only way to combat that is to present the arguments perfectly. And I watching that back, I realized that. I was like, oh no, I've made a terrible mistake. I have put forward arguments that aren't they're not rooted enough in the ground. So now these psychopaths can come out, these alt-right weirdos can come out of the closet and like it's just bad. It's so bad.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I mean, we just did an experiment and you saw the results. But you know what they say, good publicity. I mean, any good publicity is publicity, you know what I'm saying?
Not in this case.
Um,
Not in this case. No. It's bad. It's so bad. I just
Dude, I'm sorry.
oh.
I'm sorry they're saying that about you.
No, you don't have to apologize. No, I think it's partially warranted. That's the thing that bothers me. Like these guys suck. They really do because again, their ideology like the worst. Like especially if they're Ben Shapiro watchers, like which I think some of them are. Some of them I couldn't tell, probably more moderate, which is like that's better, but it is deserving because it's a bad episode. It's very bad. But like again, to fight the Ben Shapiro arguments, you have to do it in a good way, in a way that's very like planned and like cultivated in a way that's actually has substance to it, and that just oh man, those episodes suck so much.
We don't have to talk specifically about these crazy people, and maybe that'd make it a little bit easier.
It might, but that's where the views come from. Like if you're talking about like why those have such high views, it's because you got Tim Pool in the title.
Yeah.
And we'll see what the Ben Shapiro one, how that one does. We're watching Ben Shapiro, so Ben Shapiro will be in the title. But oh man, like I can stomach the Ben Shapiro episode. I watched it back and I still disliked it. I can stomach it. Those two episodes, the past two, I can't even
Yeah.
stomach those. Those are just I watch myself back and I wince. I hate it so much.
Yeah.
And I think that like what I worry about is like, you know, again in the future someone coming back and finding those episodes, you know, after I moved on and maybe like, you know, been able to sharpen my my impromptu like political political interjections. Like I don't know. Like I think those episodes they suck, but I'm willing to bury them. You know, with just a ton of other episodes. Like
Yeah.
honestly, this
and
show
you'll
better go on for a long time. We have to bury those in new episodes. We have to bury them.
Yeah, one of the things I've noticed, like a lot of the older Joe Rogan episodes have lower production quality, and so you can tell that it was further away in the past, and so he can kind of get away with some of the stuff he said in those earlier episodes. And the production quality of these episodes, where it just says the show showed above and below our videos and stuff like that, like these people can't take it too seriously, you know? It's not like we have like the perfect setup with like all this other shit. Like it's pretty clear that it's just the beginning. So
Yeah, it's just like you know, I like at least with a bit, you know, at least with like when it's like just a silly comedy based podcast, you know, like it's when you're given serious takes, it just changes the game so much, you know, like even with like low quality, it's like it almost makes it worse because like then you're just sitting like you know just sitting in this room with this like janky mic set up like given the daily news with the you know I,
I don't know, man. I mean, I think it's fine. I think you're learning, and I just want to see if one of these episodes can make it to 200 views. You know?
but if it makes it to 200 views and no one like you know is interested in the show that's bad.
Why?
Well, because it means that the episodes they're not resonating. You know, like I think like it's like a quality over quantity. You know, like we want the views that we get to be ones that you know that like the show. You know that actually like appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll get there. You know, the other episodes only have 2 views on them, right?
Yeah,
It's
but at
probably
least
me and
those are
you.
yeah, yeah. At least those are better though. Those at least like you know that it's just us having fun. Like you know it's even the Not Your Cousin's podcast like you know didn't get that many views. It got more. We had like we built up quite a little bit of a subscriber base, but we we actually one of our views got to 1,000. One of our videos, one of our clips got to 1,000
Yeah.
views. So we've hit it up there a little bit. That at least had a good like ratio, you know, to view ratio. It at least had like you know, you had like 28 likes, 27 likes. I don't know. It was better.
We'll do a
the
few more.
ratio.
We'll do a few more months of this, and we'll see. You know, I don't think every episode can have Tim Pool or Ben Shapiro as the title, but
No.
we can we can even like just go all across the map, um, and just watch people's videos and talk about them.
I like that idea. I definitely do. I think it will get better. I'm seeing it improve over time, but man, oh boy is it painful. Boy is it like an awful experience watching it back sometimes. And I'm my worst critic. I know that. Like there's a reason why like every problem that I have is with me in the episodes. Like I think like that's true for everybody. You'll be your worst, you know, critic at the end of the day. But man, I think it's so bad. I
You're not-
really
You're the only person really saying anything. um, like that guy said, right, in the eighth, um, episode, his comment,
Yeah, yeah.
he said, blah blah blah. Hats off to your co-host, though. For real, he seems logical and rational, and I don't even know what his politics are.
I'm not letting you. No, you're not a co-host. You're leading the show with me here. I'm not giving you. I'm not giving you that out. No.
What do you mean?
I'm not the head of this show. No.
No. Co-host means we're both like this.
Okay, then good. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. I mean, I would. Yeah. If I wasn't a co-host, I'd be like an assistant or something.
Yeah, I guess
And that's
so.
not
Or
that's
guest.
not what it is.
Yeah, no.
No,
I
but
don't want to give you that out to Dibley. I'm just a guest on the show. I don't know what's happening. He's crazy.
No,
It's a weird show. I don't know what to say.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, I'm not trying to really disarm. It's like this thing, like, we watch the video, you have a response, and then I have a response to your response. You know?
Yeah,
'Cause I
except we didn't
I don't
watch
even
a
know that
video.
much. I don't even know I don't know that much stuff. So what
Yeah,
am I gonna say besides seems like this, whatever my response is.
I mean, I don't think anyone like can know everything about everything, right? It's like it's kind of impossible, and I think there's even people who like are able to, and this isn't necessarily a good thing, but some people are able to talk about things they don't know about and just ramble. Obviously, no, not me. I'm like, but some people are able to do that, and that's not good. But at the same time, like it's difficult because like we have like, since we're doing a political show, like we have to interject and say something about what we're viewing, because that's the only reason why somebody would want to watch us. Otherwise, they just watch the video that we're watching. If we didn't have takes about it, but I don't think like, let's see. When I say things, I guess, about Ben Shapiro, it's like I'm responding to his takes with a different take. I'm trying to think of like a specific thing that I said that I really didn't like, because there was a lot of them. But it's been a while since I've watched those 2 episodes. And the Ben Shapiro one hasn't come out yet, but I think I'd say something along the lines of like oh, it's because like what Ben Shapiro is trying to get to here is this, right? And he didn't even say that in that video, but he would say it in another video. So I'm already like starting off on like rocky ground because I don't have that video to work with that I'm trying to talk about. And then watching through my take, I'm thinking to myself, there's something more specific that I wanted to get to there that I didn't. And so I don't know how to describe it. It's like having, I guess like I knew that he was wrong about something, but what I said in return wasn't specific enough, and it didn't have enough backing it, and in that way, it just left what I presented with holes in it, you know?
Yeah, you gotta slow down, and you might have to get slow down, and get practice to have like a clear mind.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, it is getting better over time, but it's just such a painful experience. It's just so slow grinding. I feel like it's slowly getting better, but it's like driving a tractor over like I don't know, like a giant rocky field or something like that, and then the tractor just flips over, and then you're getting out, and and then you're just walking, you know, at that point. But it's getting better, you know. It's not like it's getting worse, but
Yeah,
Oh
my
man.
recommendation is getting if you're saying I have a take that I don't get to, that you have a mindfulness practice and you can be better. You can think more clearly, you can be more intentional about what you say.
Yeah, especially when it comes like this is one of
That's
like
my recommendation, is to do that.
I agree, and I especially think like again when you're handling like Ben Shapiro, to me it's handling like basically like nuclear like substance like you have to put on like the whole entire like that's how I view it. Like let me let everyone in on like what I think handling like Ben Shapiro's arguments are. It's putting on like a nuclear like suit, like a space suit, and you're like going into like this toxic environment. You have to like handle like the plutonium, and you're like, oh fuck, oh shit, oh fuck, okay, no, don't drop it, don't drop it, no, it has to be perfect or else they're gonna come, and then the mutated creatures come out of the Ben Shapiro closet, and you're like, oh fuck, oh they're coming. No, it's all the mutated freaks. They're coming. We have to take away women's rights. Oh, fuck, oh no, you let them in. Close, and then you have to like close the door. That's what it's like handling those people. It's insane.
All right, you gotta when you're editing this episode, you gotta clip that and send that to me.
I will. I'll clip it. I'll clip it. But it really
Like,
is. It's scary. It's frightening. Like in the the more deranged that the commentator is, the more like you got to put on those special gloves, and you got to like really like go in there and like carefully navigate your way around. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think there's a pretty good edit I could do that for that, and we can do like a YouTube short for that.
Yeah.
Like their version of like Reels from Instagram or TikTok. YouTube has that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Title it "Handling Ben Shapiro."
With the monsters, and then we can do like the edits we did before. When we animate the monster.
Yeah, yeah, that's something that I miss too. I do miss the edits from the Not Your Cousins podcast sometimes. I do
Yeah.
miss those.
Yeah, I think that'll be good. Some people will think that's funny.
I'm sure I'm sure some people might understand.
All right. Well, thanks for everybody who will listen to this, and but this episode will get less views, probably, because we're not saying anything provocative. But you could say Professor Steele reflects on past comments about Ben Shapiro.
Oh man, I forgot that I used that name. Oh man, that's awful. That's my YouTube name, and that's supposed to be like a separate. Oh well, you know what? Oh well, it's all mixing over now. It's all the caricatures are just blended up together. Oh, all right. That I completely forgot I had that name on here. Oh man,
You can blur that.
I could, but that's so much work. No, I'm just keeping it. I'm just keeping it. It's good. It's good.
All right. We'll talk to you soon. Stay safe. Drink a lot of water and be nice to somebody.
Yeah. And don't forget to eat fruit too. That's nutrients. And vegetables, I guess, I suppose, but.
Okay. All right. I guess do that too. There is people that don't do that, right?
There are some people. And while you're at it, have some crystal meth. Try it.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that's probably
Unless
a good idea. That's.
Unless you want to start something like FTX, then you can start doing meth.
But start that first. Like get into
Well,
that
they
first, and then do meth.
They had like a user's manual for like how to, successfully do meth.
Really? That's crazy.
Well, because it's an amphetamine. It makes you work harder, right, and faster.
Yeah. Damn. That's crazy. Yeah, so I guess the lesson here is before you start investing in crypto, well, invest in crypto first and then start doing meth.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
start having orgies with all of your the people you work with.
Yeah. And sleep in a
Did you hear?
beanbag chair so that you're
Did
more like Warren Buffett.
Did you know that they were having orgies over there?
No, I didn't. I mean, I kind of assumed, like, you know, the guy's raking in that much money, like Wolf of Wall Street kind of thing with Bitcoin and all that. So,
Yeah, all of his coworkers were doing meth and they were having orgies. Crazy.
that is pretty much like Wolf of Wall Street. It's kind of similar.
Yeah,
They were doing a similar thing. They were taking people's money, they were putting it into these sketchy coins, and then it
yeah,
just
they
caught up
bet.
to them.
Yeah. All right.
All right,
Peace.
peace.